Now that we have the Elder Scroll, I suppose we'd best head back to Parthenax. Alduin's not going to defeat himself, after all. Please, can I see the Elder Scroll? I've wanted to hold one all my life, and it's right there! What, because of the risks, you mean? I'm aware of them, but I'm only going to take a peek. And besides, the risks are mine, not yours. But... I suppose you're probably right. I'm sorry, it's just right there you're holding an artifact from beyond time and space. The secrets of creation could be written on that scroll. As a scientist, I wanted to look. But it's not worth risking my sight. Or my sanity. Lead the way. And away we go.
You got the Elder Scroll. Well done, my friend. You lead, I follow.
Something on your mind? Ready to go. Looks like Kinnereth's putting on a show.
I'm sorry, could you describe the smell?
Like some horrible monster was turned inside out and then exploded. What did you do?
It was a minor miscalculation. I've already corrected it for future experiments.
This is why people have a problem with your college, Nelligar. Come on in. Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over. If there's anything you need, just let me know. Drink for the thirsty, food for the hungry. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. Of course. I'll show you to your room. Right this way. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Just say the word if you need a drink or something to eat. Until next time.
Summon God!
Right, Inigo. You seem to be bleeding rather a lot.
It is not.
I'm not convinced. If you think you're about to collapse, let us know.
sword was charged.
I wonder if we should get some shelter. Wait out this rain.
Dig, Dwemer in the beyond. I'll know your lost unknown, then rise to your depths. Ah, the box contains the heart. Ah, the essence of a god. I have devoted my life to the Elder Scrolls, but their knowledge is a passing awareness when compared to the encompassing mind of divinity. The Dwemer were the last to touch it. It was thought to have been destroyed by the Veering, but my lord told me otherwise. The Daedric Prince of the Unknown, Hermaeus Mora. I thought there were no secrets left to know until I first spoke to him. He asks a price to work his will. A few murders, some dissent spread, a plague or two. For the secrets I can endure. In time, he brought me here to the box. But he won't reveal how to open it. Maddening. Give it quickly. Extraordinary. I see it now. The ceiling structure interlocks in the tiniest fractals. Dwemer blood can loose the hooks, but none alive remain to bear it. A panoply of their brethren could gather to form a facsimile. A trick. Something they did not anticipate. No, not even them. The blood of Altmer, Bosmer, Dunmer, Falmer, and Orsimer. The elves still living provide the key. Bear you hence this extractor. It will drink the fresh blood of elves. Come when its set is complete.
Come closer, bask in my presence. I am Hermaeus Mora. I am the guardian of the unseen and knower of the unknown. I have been watching impressive. Your continuing aid to Septimus renders him increasingly obsolete. He has served me well, but his time is nearing its end. Once that infernal lockbox is opened, he will have exhausted his usefulness to me. When that time comes, you shall take his place as my emissary. What say you? Be warned, many have thought as you do. I have broken them all. You shall not evade me forever.
Yes, my friend. This place smells old and mad. Okay, let us get back to it.
Good morning, Raina! On we go.
Yes? All right. What do you need?
Aye. I think we've
You
earned
do
it.
know you can't trust him, right? Deals with Daedra never, ever go well. At least this one doesn't actively want us to kill anyone we know. Hello there. So long as you come back for me.
Uh-huh. You have my full attention. Yes, thank you. I will try to be a good guest.
Something on your mind?
It's reassuring to know I have someone so skilled in the art of healing. I'll be your shield, if you'll mend my scratches. Aye, and sorry I have been. I'm doing alright, I promise you. That letter gave me a lot to think about. I think you may be right there. It's no use staying stuck in my head. And I'm more grateful than words can explain. It's bittersweet. I wish even more now that I knew her, but I was left with such a legacy. Keep whatever you want from what we find. As the Dragonborn, it sounds like it's your birthright. Completely. It was my past I was looking for, not treasure. The last Dragonborn, and one of the last Akaviri, does sound mighty suspicious as far as destiny is concerned. Besides, if history keeps repeating itself, you'll soon have a new empire to build. And perhaps a new Dragon Guard to go with it. Aye, it does. I sound more important than you now. Aye.
Ready to go? Certainly. Oh, the Flaviuses are firmly rooted in the Imperial City. We've always had a strong sense of home. We're a tight-knit bunch, and we get on rather well most of the time. They worry, though. Particularly about me. Gave them quite a shock when I told them about this expedition. Davidicus is his name. He's an academic like me, always up to his elbows in old scrolls. He does a lot of consultancy work for the Imperial government. Hunts down relics for them, that sort of thing. I'd be lying if I said we always saw eye to eye, but I owe a lot to him, and he's very dear to me. Captain Lyra of the Imperial Legion. She and I couldn't be more different, but she's always supported me in everything I've done. She fought against the Thalmor in the Great War. In fact, she was there for Lord Narafin's defeat at the Battle of the Red Ring. She retired to marry my father and raise me. But despite her career, she never tried to force me onto the same path. By the time I was old enough to hold a book, it was clear I was going to follow my father into the academic world. And she was delighted for me. I write to her fairly regularly. My father too. And while she worries, I think she's proud of me for doing this. I hope so, anyway. None. I was the proverbial apple of my parents' proverbial eyes. And yes, they spoiled me rotten. Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like to have had a brother or a sister. But then I wouldn't be quite who I am today. So I can't complain. Alright then. I'll be right here.
Greetings. Yes, I have never been very good though. I enjoy writing songs, but sometimes it is more fun just making up words as I go along. Improvisation keeps the mind sharp and boredom at bay. Maybe, but nothing too serious. I would rather save my proper songs for the Bard's College. For now, anyway. Well, I know it is silly, but my songs are special to me. I would rather perform them in a special place. However, if you just want me to improvise something while we are traveling, maybe I can help you out. We will see. It is quite a story. Are you sitting comfortably? It happened about a week after the Japan job. And my betrayal. Not quite. I was still an addict. After the Japan deal went sour, I managed to score a little skooma on the road. I used it and sat up all night staring at the stars. I decided I would end my life the next day. After what I did to Felix and you, I thought it best for everybody if I just went away. You are very nice to say such things. I am glad too. I watched the sun come up, then made a noose. My camp was high near the edge of a cliff. I fastened the noose to an overhanging tree branch. I used the last of my skooma, placed the rope around my neck, and jumped off. I will tell you, don't be so impatient. A good story often needs to take its time. I remember falling, the twanging noise as the rope went taut, a brief moment of pain, a snapping noise, I thought it was my neck. Then I was falling again. The cliffs rushed past me. I thought, well, the rope didn't work, but the ground will do the trick. A wide ledge hurried up to meet me. I closed my eyes just before the impact. There was a smashing noise. Then I was underwater. I was suddenly underwater. What is so hard to understand? Try to pay attention. I had fallen through a thin layer of rock into a cave. I thought, well, the ground didn't kill me, but drowning should end my sorry life. The gods had other plans, though. A current dragged me to the surface, coughing and spluttering. That's when I heard them. I heard clucking. I was in a river being swept through a large cavern. It was dark, but I could make out many cages on the bank. Chickens strutted about outside the cages. I could smell magic. I gathered my strength and hauled myself out of the water. Yes, I know. It gets better. Hard to imagine, but true. Listen to this. Inside the cages, people were bound and gagged. Ignoring the chickens, I rushed over and tried to open the first cage I came to. It was locked tight. Suddenly, I felt a pain in my foot. A chicken was pecking at me. I kicked it away, but it came back with reinforcements. I saw some rabbits too, but they did not seem to want to get involved. I was in a flapping, pecking nightmare. I tried to get back in the water, but before I had gone a few steps, I was knocked unconscious. No, a chicken pecks. It does not try to sneak up behind you and knock you out. I awoke tied to a chair. There was a foul-smelling man studying me. I could hear the river nearby, but now I was in a crypt of some sort. Chickens and rabbits watched me from behind the smelly man. He said he was going to make me useful. I did not like the sound of that. My options were limited. I had no weapons, but I did have a little time. This fellow liked to talk. I unsheathed my claws and went to work on the ropes that held me to the chair. The man seemed to have a bit to say, so I let him talk. He said he was a powerful wizard and that he had learned how to transform people into animals. Once transformed, he said I would want nothing but to aid him. He said he had a spy network of chickens and rabbits all over Skyrim. Of course, the proof was flapping and hopping all around him. I asked why only chickens and rabbits. He replied that once I was a chicken, no one would ever take notice of me again. A bear or a mammoth would be too conspicuous. Smaller animals make the best spies. I told him if he turned me into a chicken, I'd peck his eyes out. He told me that the change was not only physical. I would want to do his bidding, nothing else. He said he was using the information his spy network gathered to cause hate across the land. He fed on hate. It made him stronger. I had spied a wooden door in one wall that smelled rotten. As soon as I felt the rope around me give a little, I jumped at the door. It burst open as I hit it, and the chair broke apart. I was free. The wizard screamed in anger and loosed a spell in my direction. I dodged his attack and ran down a long stone tunnel. I heard the smelly wizard begin to laugh. "There is only death that way," he yelled. "Good," I replied. "I've been seeking that all day." Yes, the smell of bones and dust filled my nose. The wizard did not follow me. I ran for what seemed like forever. Eventually, I came to a vast chamber with a spindly spiral staircase leading up in the center. The floor was littered with dried out bodies. They had been dead for hundreds of years, but as it turned out, they were still quite feisty. As I made for the staircase, the dead started to groan and move. I jumped over them and began to climb the steps. My father told me that anyone who dies in such a crypt may come back as a walking husk themselves, not true death. Something far worse. There were too many Draugr to fight, so I concentrated on climbing. Halfway up, I spotted an opening in the ceiling. The air was fresher up there. That is when I uncharacteristically tripped. I tumbled back down the stairs. Soon the dead reached me. They clawed at me. They held me down. Dry, cracked fingers tore my face to ribbons, giving me these scars. I almost gave up, and then something amazing happened. I realized I wanted to live. I realized that my life was still worth something. I realized that I could be the person my brother knew again. This realization gave me a strength I never knew I had. I fought back, shouting, "No!" again and again. "No, you will not have my life. No, this is not where I die. No!" I struggled to my feet, fighting all the while. I snapped necks, I broke arms, I gouged out eyes. Somehow, I made it back to the staircase. Yes, it was pretty amazing. If I had not spent all that morning almost dying, I wonder if I'd be here talking to you now. Anyway, I reached the top of the stairs, forced open the hatch above, and stepped out into daylight. I was only a few hundred feet from my camp. I stared at the tree with the snapped rope hanging from it for a long time. I knew I owed much, and swore that I would repay any debt I could. When I realized you had survived, I decided that if anyone was going to take my life, it should be you. You know the rest. That is how I got these scars. It is a good tale, yes? Yes, it is. Living it made me the man you see before you. Scars and all. Okay, talk to you later.
ruins look to be from the more epic era. Perhaps we'll find a word for it.
Start to study, I wouldn't have wanted to be there at the time.
Lesson to others.
is harder than achieving death, especially when we are around.
Need some? Take a look. Until next time.
How's your sense of navigation? Because I'm not entirely sure I can remember the way out.
Yol! Yol!